I'm Mike Vail. I'm I'm the founder of a company out of Colorado called Water Legacy. Our mission in life for the last 6 years has been to stop the use of our drinking water for flushing toilets. And we've built and designed and have a package system that's mainly a plug-and-play system for residential units right now to take the gray water sources of the house, primarily the bathing water, recycle it for the toilet flushing. It's scalable, and we are trying to push into the commercial market. And basically, because of being involved in that industry, I was asked to give a little talk about how water conservation is directly related to energy conservation. And specifically, I'm just going to run through a little example to just show you, with numbers, that definitely there is a direct correlation between water conservation causing energy conservation, or in some ways vice versa, that they're all directly tied. So we're going to be talking very quickly here. I know I'm preaching to the choir about a lot of things here, but we'll kind of get started here. Everybody pretty much knows the situation. We have an energy crisis. We also have a looming water shortages crisis is happening everywhere, and there's many infusions of energy needed to get water from its source point to its point of disposal, and that energy and water are directly tied, and that we believe that on-site gray water reuse has been identified as a water resource, and it can conserve energy. So basically the question we're going to discuss today is gray water reuse and added water distribution and disposal energy savings measure, and does it cause conservation? This slide here is something that Mike Hightower with Sandia Labs uses to show people a lot of the direct connection between energy and water. A lot of energy, water's used to produce energy, and we're also need the energy to move the water around. So water is very energy intensive. There's been a number of talks yesterday. There's even going to be more, I think, today about how much electricity is just tied to moving water around. And basically, statistically, they claim 80% of the cost of a municipal water system is just to get the water moved. And groundwater sources require about 30% more energy, and the industry is projecting that due to all of our increased needs for numerous reasons, we're looking at a 33% increase in energy needs to move the water we use. So there's lots of solutions out there, but we're going to just focus on water conservation as being the main way we can help save some other energy. And in particular here, we're talking about on-site reuse, to flush toilets specifically, and mainly because, once again, gray water is identified as a resource, that can be reused for conservation. And what I'm going to do here, I'm from Denver. I know Denver statistics in general, so I'm just going to kind of run through a little numbers example here, just based on what Denver's saying happening, to their water. And just to kind of take into consideration these numbers that I'm using here that I've gone through and you made these calculations out of, all come from places like the Energy Research Institute and lead guides for making calculations, et cetera. All of those, Sandia Labs info, carbon, the American Water Alliance for Efficiency, those kinds of places. So basically in Denver, they're projecting that the population is going to increase by roughly 1 million people by the year 2050. So basically, it's going to require a lot of additional energy and water to supply that population. And for our discussion here, these numbers I've taken from these research places I've mentioned, are going to use the number that 3,045 kilowatt hours are required to move 1 million gallons of water through the system, that there's 2.67 people per household, an average use of roughly 62,000 gallons through a home per year, 8.16 gallons per day per person in flushing, and an average cost of the electricity of 11 cents per kilowatt hour to move that water. What that translates into is, in this particular example, that require roughly 375,000 new homes to be built, a need for an added 23 billion gallons of water, calculating into roughly $7.8 million of added cost to provide that water. if all of those homes were required to put in a simple reclamation system to flush the toilets, based on the numbers I used, it'd be roughly an 8,000 gallons per home savings in water needs for each of those homes, resulting in almost 300 million gallons of less water needed, which will translate into roughly $1 million in less cost to move that water. And all of these numbers, when you switch them, calculate them all back and forth, it's a direct correlation of roughly 13%. Water conservation will cause roughly a 13% energy savings. So, basically in conclusion, we can show, through the existing data that there's a direct correlation between recycling water on site, the conservation it causes directly saves the energy. So we're open for questions and discussion.
What sort of systems do you have today that go on residential units, plug and play?
Well, in actuality, there's several. Okay, there's a company called Water Saver Technologies. Actually have a relationship with Sloan these days, and they have a sample system over there. It's a little retrofit device that goes under the sink of a bathroom. It's made to collect that individual lavatory's water and pump it over to the toilet when it has water available to flush that toilet. There's a company out of Canada called the Brax Systems. They make a variety of plug-and-play systems for homes and both commercial applications. There's our system. There's a system entering the States currently out of Australia called Nubian, and there's been a variety of others. Hans Grohe off and on claims they're going to bring their Pontos here to the country. So within the U.S., there's probably only 4 or 5 systems you can officially go and buy, that have been certified and listed that you can purchase for residential applications. But out there in the world, there's dozens of them. Okay.
Those that you mentioned are mostly under sink applications?
No, that system over there that Sloan has is the only little retrofit under sink device. Every other system that's out there is like ours. It's geared to new construction, to integrate into the plumbing system of the home or building, to take the gray water sources, filter, treat, store the water for a non-potable use. That's allowed in that area.
Do you put, to bring it back into the house, do you see the need to put disinfectant or?
Oh, absolutely. It has to be disinfectant, and it's never left the house in recycled systems for toilet flushing. We're taking those indoor sources in the first place, sending them to a filter and a disinfecting system, and then a storage system to supply it. And everything is integrated from the control valves and the filters and the programmable disinfecting system to the supplemental freshwater controls. Actually, to tell you the truth, the way these things get integrated into a home or building, plumbing code pretty much dictates all of the things you got to do, and they cover it pretty well on how the installation has to happen.
Do you have a